So, you've done it. Weeks, maybe even months of hard work, and your new solar system is all set up. Or so you think. You're standing there ready to flip that final switch. But hold on. Before you do anything, there's something you absolutely have to know.
And that quote right there says it all, doesn't it? Most failures aren't from wear and tear. They happen in the first 10 seconds. Seriously, that very first moment you power everything on, what we call commissioning, that's the danger zone. This is where a tiny, simple mistake can instantly turn your expensive new gear into a smoldering paperweight. So yeah, this is not the time to rush.
So, are you ready? Because that's what we're going to tackle in this explainer. I'm going to walk you through the full-blown commissioning checklist, step by step. This is your playbook for powering on safely, with confidence, and, most importantly, without letting that dreaded magic smoke out of your shiny new equipment. And believe me, the very first step has nothing to do with tools.
Okay, so let's talk about the mindset shift. Because the first step, it's not physical. It's all in your head. You've got to reframe how you think about this whole commissioning thing. It's not just the final step of your installation, it's really the first step of making sure your system is actually safe and ready to go.
And this right here really breaks it down. On one side, you've got the common view. It's just a quick final step, let's just turn it on. You're just assuming everything's good to go. But the professional view, totally different. It's a critical safety phase. It's about system validation. You verify every single assumption you made during the entire build. No guesswork allowed.
So, what are we really talking about when we say commissioning? Here's the deal. It's the process of verifying every single electrical assumption you have with a measurement before you flip that switch and apply full power. It's that simple. You're not guessing, you're not hoping, you're proving it with a tool before anything can go wrong.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Section 2, pre-power safety checks. And listen up because this is huge. Everything we're about to talk about happens with all the breakers off, zero power flowing. This is all about catching problems before they're problems.
So here's our game plan. We've got 4 main things to check off the list. First, a good old-fashioned visual inspection. Second, and this is a big one, polarity verification. Third, a quick battery voltage check. And fourth, something a lot of people skip but you absolutely shouldn't, checking the solar array's open circuit voltage. Let's dig into each one.
Okay, first up, the visual inspection. This means getting your eyes and your hands on everything. Are all the cable connections on your bus bars and terminals actually tight? Give them a little wiggle. A loose connection isn't just a bad connection. It's a fire waiting to happen. Look for any exposed wires, any little nicks or crushed bits of insulation. And those MC4 connectors from your panels, you should hear a solid click when they lock. If you don't hear that click, it's not secure.
All right, number 2 is polarity. And let me be crystal clear. This is non-negotiable. You have to get your multimeter out, test the positive and negative leads from your batteries and your solar panels before you hook them up. I don't care if the wire is red and has a big plus sign on it. Never, ever, ever trust color coding. Measure it yourself, because one reverse connection will kill your inverter. Not maybe, it will. Instantly. Game over.
Next up, checking the solar array's open circuit voltage, or VOC. Look, before you even think about connecting those panels to your charge controller, you need to measure the voltage coming off that string. Why is this so critical? Here's the thing about solar panels. Their voltage goes up when it gets colder. So if you measure the VOC on a nice warm day and it's already kind of close to your charge controller's max limit, what do you think is going to happen on a freezing cold winter morning? You guessed it, you'll fry the controller. This one simple check prevents a very expensive mistake. Okay, I want to circle back to something I mentioned a second ago, because it's that important. Loose terminals. Seriously, this is one of the top reasons DIY solar systems have catastrophic failures. And the reason why is, well, it's all about a tiny bit of physics.
So here's the science behind the danger. P loss equals I squared R. Don't worry, it's simpler than it looks. P loss is just power lost as heat. R is resistance. I is the current, the flow of electricity. But look closely at that I. It's squared. That's the killer. It means the amount of heat doesn't just go up with the current, it goes up exponentially. And that's exactly why a loose connection is so incredibly dangerous.
So let's connect the dots here. A loose connection creates high resistance, so the R in our formula gets bigger. Then, when you turn something on, you're pushing a ton of current, the I, through that tiny high resistance spot. Because that current factor is squared, the heat it generates just skyrockets. We're talking extreme heat, which leads to electrical arcing, melting terminals, and, yep, fire.
Okay, just a few last things before we flip any switches. First, grounding. This is your #1 safety net. Make sure all the metal bits are connected to a solid ground. Next, do a final check. Are all your breakers off? Are your fuses the right size? Don't just assume. And finally, if you've got a big inverter, you need to think about pre-charging. See, when you connect a big inverter to the batteries, there's a huge surge of power that can cause a big spark and damage things. Pre-charging is like slowly filling a balloon with air instead of just popping it. You use a little resistor to gently power up the inverter's capacitors first.
All right, this is it, the main event. We've done all our pre-flight checks. We've used our multimeter to verify everything is exactly as it should be. Now, we're finally ready to apply some power. But wait, the order you turn things on is absolutely 100% critical.
I really can't say this strongly enough. Order matters. Always. There's a right way to do this and a whole bunch of very, very wrong ways. Following the correct sequence is what stops weird voltage spikes and makes sure every piece of your system wakes up on the right side of the bed, so to speak.
So here it is, the magic sequence. Step 1, turn on the battery breaker. This is key. It gives your inverter a nice, stable power source to wake up to. Step 2, now you can power on the inverter itself. Let it do its thing. Watch its little screen. Make sure there are no error codes. Step 3, once the inverter is happy and stable, then you can turn on the solar breaker. You'll see your charge controller come to life. And finally, step 4, apply a load, but start small. Turn on a light bulb or a small fan before you go trying to power up the whole house.
Okay, so the power is on, everything seems to be working, but don't walk away just yet. The job is not done. These first few moments are your final chance to spot a problem before it gets out of hand. And for this part, you're going to need to use your other senses, your ears and your nose.
Pay attention. If you hear any weird buzzing that doesn't sound right, if you hear a clicking sound that's stuck in a loop, or if you smell anything like burning plastic or hot electronics, shut it all down immediately. Do the power on sequence in reverse. Those are your system's emergency warning signals. Don't ignore them.
So let's bring it all home. What have we learned? Commissioning isn't just some optional thing you do at the end if you feel like it. It is the single most important process that makes the difference between a safe, reliable system that'll last you for years and one that's basically a ticking time bomb.
Look, if you forget everything else I've said today, please remember this. Measure. Don't assume. That's it. Don't assume the wire colors are right. Don't assume the voltage is what you think it is. Don't assume that connection is tight enough. Get your multimeter out, measure it, prove it, know for sure.
And that's a wrap. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. After going through all of this, after seeing what can go wrong in a split second, what's the one check we talked about that you are now going to treat as absolutely non-negotiable? The one thing you will never, ever skip again? Seriously, think about it, because knowing that answer is what starts to separate the amateurs from the pros.